Alright, what is up, boys? Welcome back to another video on Copious FC. Make sure to like, subscribe. We're getting into all the latest transfer news, all the news from today. Basically, we got to hop straight into the Spurs will not be relegated. It will be West Ham. West Ham's going to have to sell off guys like Bowens, Somerville, Fernandez, obviously El Hadij, Malik Diouf, who's a very good left back that a lot of teams seem to want, and he's very young. I mean, he's from Senegal. He starts for the Senegal, national team. And you're going to see a lot of him in the World Cup. He plays a lot better for them than he does, honestly, West Ham. I think they really do put more pressure, on him for West Ham because he just is not a very good team compared to that Senegal team with a much better attack. Obviously, one of the better teams, in the world. But we got to talk about this Spurs, man. They're going to be losing a lot of players this summer. Obviously, Christian Romero is probably going to be leaving. They're going to have other players like Pedro Porro probably leaving. And we don't even know who else. There's probably going to be quite a bit of players. Rich Carlson probably, obviously. But De Zerbi, man, he pulls this off. He gets them out of relegation. Really hard battle fought. Because, West Ham did not, shy away from trying to stay above, the relegation zone. They played very good, in my opinion, this second half of the season in the Premier League. And, beating, Leeds United today 3-0 when they played very good last week. You see, they could have just fallen apart, man. But they went out there 1-3-0. Everton let everybody down. They go out there and they, make it so the, Premier League title race sucks because they had a tie with Man City. And they go out there today and they lay a goose egg against Spurs, which was just awful. De Zerbi really did outclass him. And I will say, man, Spurs are going to be a team to watch out for. They already signed Andy Robertson. He's confirmed to be going to Spurs now. There's a few more, center backs that are going to be heading over there from maybe a few teams like in SerieA, maybe a player from Bournemouth or Crystal Palace. What to see? There's a lot of center backs that are going to be on the market. But De Zerbi is going to go out there. He's going to get all the players that fit his system. And it's going to be really fun football to watch next year. I think they're going to finish top 8 for sure in the Premier League. A lot of teams are going to have to watch it. I'm really scared, man, for Man United because I think, this is a year that they didn't have to play in any, European competition with teams like Chelsea and, Spurs not having to play in any European competition next season. They're going to be playing, well rested. They're going to, have been well spent this summer. Better managers than they had last season. It's going to be a bloodbath, to finish in the top 5 or the top 6 to make Champions League next season. And there's going to be some really big teams that are going to miss out. I'm scared as a Liverpool fan. I think it's going to be between them and Man United and probably Aston Villa. So I think only one of those teams will probably qualify for Champions League next season. I think this is just going to be too hard with the quality in the Premier League. And, some of these bigger clubs, these big 6 clubs, going to go out, spend a lot, and just have all this rest every week. But moving on from that, we got to talk about Serie A Champions League. So the teams that made it were obviously Inter Milan. We had Napoli. We had Roma. And then we had Como. So Como makes it. Out of those 4 teams heading into next season, Como is by far the worst team, in my opinion. Nico Paz was their best player by far this year. He will not be on the team next year. It looks like he's going to be going back to Real Madrid. They're buying him back. He's going to be staying there. I don't think they're going to sell him probably. So they're going to need to go out and spend a lot of money on new players this season or this summer because it's just not going to be the same team quality-wise. But Juventus and AC Milan missing out on Champions League is not good for that league. Say what you want, but those are 2 of the biggest, clubs in Serie A football. Obviously, Inter Milan and Napoli are really big. But Juventus missing out with Cannon Yildiz, Weston McKennie. They're talking about now bringing Alisson Becker over from Liverpool, and that seems like it's still going to happen even with them missing out on Champions League football. It's going to be really hard for them to, go out and sign new players. Obviously, Serie A money that, the league has is much less than, Premier League. Premier League just pays their clubs so much money. Like, I think if you win Serie A, it's like 15 million or something like that. Compared to if you win, Premier League, it's like 150 million. So I could be getting the numbers wrong, but I've been seeing a lot of numbers floating out there. I know like these relegated teams like Burnley are getting paid 58 million. So, and I know that's like almost the same, if not more, than what La Liga pays Barcelona. So it's going to be really hard for AC Milan, especially. They want to do a whole rebuild on their attack this summer. Obviously, Rafael Leao's most likely gone. Maybe Christian Pulisic's gone after this. It's gonna be a little rough for them, in my opinion. I don't know how they're gonna bounce back too well next season. They're gonna have to sell, their star goalkeeper. They're gonna have to sell a lot of players. Today, man, they just had no defense. It wasn't even their goalkeeper's fault. He had like 7 or 8 saves, gave up 2 goals, but the attack was so bad. They literally brought in all their like starters, like Modric, Leo, and Pulisic, like at half. So don't know what they're doing today. They lost to a bum team, and bum stuff happens with that team. So let me know what you think of that, and just let me know, man. Juventus, man, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Kenny Yildiz leave this summer. I know, he's still very young, like 23 years old, but I think there's going to be a few teams calling for him this summer, and I wouldn't be surprised if Juventus gets such a big offer that they just have to take it, and maybe he wants to play in Champions League. And you're not going to be playing Champions League in Juventus next season. So let me know what you think of that. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment. I'll be doing more of these types of videos. We got a lot of transfer rumors to go over in the next video after this one, especially with Real Madrid, Man City, Chelsea. So I'll see you in the next one. Peace.